Go, coffee, go.
I'm trying this new Arizona tea energy herbal tonic.
RFK Jr. would approve.
Oh, would he now?
Yeah.
So
he would tell you to put that shit on a broken leg.
But he would also tell you don't take medical advice from me.
Exactly.
Apparently. Welcome, everybody. My name is Chibbi.
My name is Rooster.
And this is the Puro Pinche podcast. Pop culture and politics hot takes with a South Texas twist.
We are Puro Unfiltered.
Puro sweating.
Puro drinking water, staying hydrated.
Puro lies.
Wow, but always
you
distilled.
Caffeinated is what it is.
Yeah.
Let's go, people.
So how goes it, friend?
It's hot.
It's hot than a bitch.
It's hot up in these streets.
Yeah.
It is officially... So yesterday, I don't know about today, but yesterday it was officially hotter in San Antonio than it was in the Sahara Desert. Don't know if you saw that going around.
I don't believe in climate change.
Don't believe in science either. So that's happening. I was talking to Breeze on the phone, and he's like, "That's not right, fam.
No.
That's not right." And I was like, "Well, you know, here in San Antonio, we have air conditioning. In the Sahara Desert, they don't.
That's
so,
true.
you know, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, but it is quite on the hotter end of the Celsius and or degrees, whatever you fall into.
Hotter than the devil's anus, as they say in the South.
That's right.
So here we are. How are you?
I'm good. Bit of good news. Found out Mexican dinosaur will be taught at the University of Incarnate Word next semester.
Hey, that is
So,
right.
Yeah.
Go buy that book if you haven't already.
Still out here.
Yeah.
Love that. I love that. I love the life cycle of these books.
Making the rounds. You know what? And that's the thing. You just got to keep like pushing at it. Like I see certain books that like the same thing happens where like the author will post like, "Oh my God, just found out my book is being used in XYZ." That book was published 6 years ago. Yeah. And you still, you know, riding that wave. So ride it.
Ride the wave, y'all.
Ride them. Yeah.
But other than that, things are good. Things are lovely. The heat did come in like so disrespectful. Mm-hmm. But we're here. We're hydrated. We're caffeinated. We're
air
all
conditioned.
We're air conditioned.
That's right.
How about you?
I finally figured out the fan also. So I got this new fan thing happening in the studio, and it's always one of those things where I have to like the trick on like what way the fan is supposed to spin during what seasons. I'm like, okay, counterclockwise is the right way, right? Because counterclockwise is when it's hot and you want it cooler. And so I kept looking at this and I'm like, that's not right. And I would like switch it. And then I'm like, it's not cooling when it's going counterclockwise. Something is wrong. And then I realized the fan blades are angled in the opposite direction that regular fan blades are. It's a little queer.
It's like it's on its own time. It's on its own energy.
Maybe it came from China.
Could have come from China,
but
you order them T-moo fans, you get what you get.
It came from Lowe's. That's the thing. I was like, why is this happening? But other than that, it's good. It's another week in paradise. We're surviving despite the apocalypse. So
absolutely.
Let's get into it.
Let's do it. In this little segment, we like to kick every show off. We call it, nope, you're wrong.
Yeah, and I'll kick us off. Speaking of T-moo, speaking of China, so the Trump administration did some things. And this whole like tariffs thing that we may get into a little later, one of the things that they closed was this loophole, and that's called a de minimis exception that basically states that anything that's imported under a certain dollar amount doesn't get any taxes on it. When this law was originally formed in like the 18 something or others, early 1900s, it was $1. But back in the early 2000s, they raised it to $800. So packages coming in from outside the United States with a value of under $800, no taxes. This allowed for T-moo and what's the other one? Shein, and other such companies
Shite.
to flourish, essentially. And that's how, girls be getting their booty shorts for $6 and you getting your iPhone cases for $2 and all sorts of stuff, right? So they decided to do away with this exemption and tax all of these products. People are freaking out. Prices on T-moo have gone up. Shi, Yang, Ying, Yung have also gone up. And you know what? I'm kind of here for it. I hate to say that I'm on the side of...
There's a lot of influencers who are not going to support this podcast anymore.
They already don't. So
That's true. Yeah.
Fuck it.
Shout out to the 30 of y'all who listen.
But because of what sites like, let's call them shites.
Yeah.
Shites like T-moo have done in terms of like crippling independent artists, artisans, local shops, startup brands that just don't have the kind of production capital that China has in order to sell their products as cheap. And it's like they lose before they even get a chance to get started. So it's kind of an end to fast fashion, and I'm not mad at it.
Broken clocks. I completely agree. I don't want to say you're wrong on this. Because I'm not. Well, because there's also, I've always hated these shite websites because of the ecological impact they have. For those who don't know, fast fashion is slowly destroying the world. Yep. It's why we have microplastics in our testicles. Go do some research. In our brains.
That's right.
It's
the fish.
Yeah, the fish. It's destroying a lot of developing nations where we dump a lot of this fast fashion after it's run their very shitty life cycle. And it's terrible. So I'm not against it at all.
So, yeah, hate to say that, but this seems like a good one and a win for the little people here in America.
Do you still see like thrift store, like fashion spots thriving because of this? Or like, I guess like Buffalo Exchange.
Is that what you're talking about?
Plato's Closet.
I don't know. It's been a minute. Typically, like when we've gone to like shop for something thrift store-esque, we go to Goodwill or like Texas Thrift. So I don't know how Buffalo Exchange is doing.
I feel like that was a hipster movement, though.
It was, very
like
much
big
so.
Time. 2010 was their era.
Because it was like thrift store, but it's organized.
Pretty much.
So they can charge you a little bit more for it. I worked for them for a hot minute.
In Austin?
In Austin, yeah.
I love that Buffalo Exchange.
It was really great. I got some good stuff there while I was working. And one day I decided there was like a barbecue joint right across the street from it. I went to lunch and ate lunch, had a beer with my lunch, came back, was talking to my manager, and I was like, yeah, it was a good lunch, had a beer, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, you had a beer during lunch? And I was like,
I'm an adult.
Yeah.
I was off the clock.
I was, you can't come to work intoxicated. I was like, I had a beer.
I didn't drink all of the beers.
Yes. So
she let you go off of a beer?
Well, it escalated to certain things. And to be fair, I was shooting up in the bathroom.
Oh, okay, cool. So
I don't think they knew that part. But
Yeah.
So there went that career, which is fine.
Yeah. Well, there we go. What's next on the docket?
You throw something because...
Okay, competition breeds innovation, which breeds a lot of benefit to everyone.
That's right.
So
variety.
I ordered food the other day from Yaya Thai here in San Antonio, which is shout out to them. They're delicious. If you want some Thai food, it's
always welcome on the pod.
151 in Petrenko. And they have taken a spin on the crab rangoon.
Oh,
right.
How dare you touch the classic?
See, this is perfect.
Let me see. Let me hear.
What I'm thinking is it's a two-part thing. One, we need to stop pretending crab rangoons have crab in them. Okay? It's goddamn cream cheese, and we love it.
You're not wrong.
Actually, I get offended when I order a crab rangoon that has crab meat in it or imitation crab meat in it. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit, man? Like, you trying to poison me? But here's my take. We need to have a food war between mozzarella sticks and crab rangoons.
Well, crab rangoon wins.
Wow. This is controversial. Fans, what do you think? Weigh in now. DM us.
Does
fuck
Chibbi get canceled?
Fuck Roost. Yeah, for whichever. I think the cheese stick still got it.
I don't. And this is my.
Well, have you seen the giant cheese stick that's like getting national recognition from here?
I don't need that.
Okay.
I don't need that.
Well,
I haven't. Tell me.
Okay, so there's a giant, like, foot-long thickums cheese steak. Or no, not cheese steak. Cheese stick.
I love a big, thick cheese
thickums.
stick.
Thickums.
Put it in my mouth.
It's huge.
Juicy.
I want to say it's about
marinara.
Almost like yes. And it's like a tub of marinara. The gigantic pool. It's getting the rounds on social media for being, just ginormous.
This is why we have
and
diabetes.
Cheese eaters in the world.
Not diabetes. High cholesterol.
Yeah. And lactose intolerance problems.
Hard problems.
But you're crab rangoon gang.
I am, because I think it's the breading. I like the crispy shell over the the
wonton shell. Yeah.
Yeah. Over the breaded thing. It's just, because then I just feel heavy afterwards. Crab rangoons are light. They're crisp. And it's also cream cheese filling, not mozzarella. I'm a fan of the cream cheese.
See, so you would really like what Yaya Thai did.
What did they do?
Which is, it's essentially a crab rangoon, but it's roll form, and they use almost like the spring roll paper, like crust for the crust, and then it's still the cream cheese inside. It was tasty.
Okay, I'm here for that. Not here for the foot-long cheese.
Do you prefer the sweet and sour dip over the marinara?
Yes.
Okay.
1,000%.
Wow. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not going to say you're wrong, but I think it's time.
You're also not saying your opinion.
Well, no, I think this is where it comes. My opinion, if I have to pick off top, I'm going cheese sticks.
Okay.
But I think there's room, just like how cheese sticks was solely the heir of Italian restaurants for many, many years. And then they just started matriculated over into
everywhere.
Buffalo Wild Wings. Yeah. I think we need to do that with cream cheese rangoons.
It needs to be everywhere. See, I think you're right. You're here for the cheese sticks because you ride or die for Jersey.
Yeah.
And feels like cheese stick central.
I agree. Yeah. I think I grew up in a lot of, that's a good way of sort of identifying me as a person. I think I grew up in a lot of like cheese sticks heavy communities, like Killeen, Texas, very like Applebee's centric places.
Where did you grow up, fans?
Yeah. How big with cheese sticks where you come from?
Or what was the appetizer of choice?
What about Mexicanos? Should we have our own version of the cheese stick with like Oaxacan cheese?
Do they not?
The quesadilla.
Well, no, not the. I mean, there is the quesadilla, but what about like the queso flambeado? Flambeado.
That's like the dip, right?
Yeah, where the cheese is. It's not queso.
It's not.
It's not Tex-Mex.
No.
Tex-Mex queso. So it is like the dip that's a little more of that pulley mozzarella, and it comes with the tortillas. I think that's our equivalent.
I think we need to roll some shit up. I think that's what it. I mean, imagine like a corn, like a corn shell. Like some Oaxacan cheese. Well, no, maybe not. Maybe not roll form. Maybe the Mexicano version is our own wonton-y.
A little puff pastry of sorts.
Yeah,
but deep fried and crispy,
fried, golden,
like a samosa.
Yes, but what would we do for the dip sauce?
You mean not salsa?
Not salsa.
Could it just be like pico?
Ooh,
maybe
pico. Maybe maybe we came up with like a fire roasted salsa that's a little sweet,
an avocado based creamy.
Ooh, see, now that was the whole point. Like, let's push the conversation forward.
I think you're right on that one. Speaking of Mexicans, or Latinos in general, also on Nope You're Wrong, is this Latino Invasion 2.0? So for the listeners that are too young to know, which is like one of you, actually, the vast majority of our audience are elder millennials. Back in the early 2000s, we had the Latino invasion, right? Ricky Martin, Enrique Iglesias, Jennifer Lopez, all taking over. This past week, the Billboard Top 200, the top 2 songs were of Latino artists for the first time in the history of the Billboard Top 200 with Bad Bunny and Fuerza Regida.
I guess.
I think that's right. Regida. taking it, Bad Bunny for releasing the vinyl version of his latest album, and this other band person that I just don't know. So
yeah, we're dominating out here when you break it down like that.
But like we have seen, like I think Bad Bunny kind of brought in an era, and you're seeing the Ozunas, the
Ricky Martin and Enrique or Mark Anthony. They weren't number 1 and number 2 at any point.
Not at the same time.
That's some
Apparently,
bullshit.
not at the same time. But you're seeing that. You're seeing things like Becky G, Carol G, even Cardi B is a little on the Latina side. I mean, she is, but like her music.
The Carol G Netflix doc, I see getting a lot of burn from just like on social media from.
Is this Latino invasion the kind that white people are okay with 2.0?
And do we need to thank Mother Shakira?
Oh, for bringing it in.
I think she's the one.
I have always known she's the one.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think this new wave, because let's also be clear and go back in time to the early 2000s. The first Latino wave, the first Latin invasion wasn't really an invasion because like Ricky, he was repping Puerto Rico, but it was an American album. He did She Bangs.
He did.
Yeah. Living La Vida Loca.
It was all English
via
speaking. Maná.
No, not Maná. You mean Menudo.
Menudo. There you go.
Right. Well, because he had popped off in Latin America. Like, because I think the real Latin artists of that time, like,
it was a little crossover.
Yes.
Was
it was more
hitting
crossover.
big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because see, the mother of that, I would say, is Selena.
Who did her crossover album.
Right. Mm-hmm. So you had that, but it was all English speaking. This moment is now very much, let's keep it Spanish.
Peso Pluma is out here making waves.
Yes. I don't disagree with you. I do think what I love about it more than the music even is the influence on culture. Because I think that was a problem with the first wave is it just became really homogenized.
Yeah.
And even when you have Latino actors right now, like there's a lot of them happening, but I also feel like they're getting homogenized. Like Pedro Pascal is just sort of now like sexy daddy man.
Yeah.
And and same with Oscar Isaac and a number of other Latino actors. I think now though you're starting to see like, oh no, by keeping it truer to the roots. Yeah. Now we're leaving fingerprints on the greater culture. Yeah. But they wanted to deport us all, so fuck them.
Huge tangent on this. I did see a clip where it was the actor that played Rufio in Hook, talking about like
the poet Dante Basco.
Okay.
Yeah, he's from the Poetry Lounge with Shahan. Started it.
Wow. Didn't know. Hadn't made the link.
It's all good.
But he was talking about like when he was coming up in acting, it was that era where like he just played every race. Yeah. Right. Mexican, got it. They're my cousins. Vietnamese, they're right across. Yeah. The Filipinos were just like everything. And I think you see a little bit of that with actors like the ones you were talking about, Pedro Pascal, Oscar Isaac, just being like, I don't know, I can play whatever race,
Because I mean, Pedro Pascal is playing Mr. Fantastic.
I know.
Which is like the whitest.
Yeah. What's the guy's name? Reeves?
Reed Richards.
Reed Richards?
Yeah. Like, I don't know how much more white that guy can be.
This is what we call colorblind casting in the theater. But it is what it is. You know what? I'm here for it. And the influence across it. And the way that also we're able to kind of like celebrate the umbrella of Latinidad while still getting down into the like Puerto Riqueño-ness of it all, Mexican of it all, right? Like getting much more centric on
regional.
That's the word I was looking for. Yes.
And offshooting of this, just shout out to the AAPI Heritage Month.
That's right. We are
Asian American and Pacific Islanders. Shout out to the Pacific Islanders who get confused for Mexicans. All my Filipinos, I see you. I love y'all.
See you.
I really do love the Filipino community. Y'all are the best.
I know.
Fucking A.
Putos.
Yeah, their putos are different than our putos, but their putos are tasty.
Their putos are delicious.
Yeah.
Among other things. So we're happy to be here. And then this, you brought this in.
What, did I?
You did, the last one.
What was it?
I'm looking at it. Project 2029.
Oh, yes. So Project 2029, it's starting to make the rounds on social media. And it is the reflex to Project 2024. Yeah.
2025.
Project 2025. that conservative think tanks spent decades and decades and decades.
If you listen to this podcast, you know what it's about because we talked about it ad nauseum last year.
Exactly. So now they're starting to get a buzz across social media about this potential idea for what they're calling Project 2029 and just some of the ideas with it. Okay. So there's the actual democratic potential platform for this idea.
Okay.
And then just sort of the left wing liberal sort of, hey, if we were going to do it, let's go balls to the wall the way they went balls to the wall.
Yeah.
So some ideas for Project 2029 include tax the rich, tax the churches, equal rights for all, a ban on assault weapons, make secondary education affordable, remove presidential immunity, set term limits for the Supreme Court, and expand the courts to 13. Reinstate a women's right to choose and codify it into law, double the minimum wage, and require all government employees to list their pronouns just to be petty as fuck. So again, this is kind of a two-parter. The first is, let's stay on the topic of these topics.
Are these topics the official adopted topics of the? Okay, this is what is the social media of it all. Okay, great.
Right. And I honestly don't believe the left side of the Democratic Party would actually put this to paper. They should.
Because they're pussies.
I don't see why they wouldn't. What else would you add to this list?
Don't put me on the spot. I already forgot what we had. You go.
Mine is, and I genuinely believe this, and so this could be its own nope, you're wrong, is we need to lower the voting age to 16 years old.
Ooh.
Because if you have the right to work. And which then gets you taxed, and we trust you to drive 70 miles an hour on the freeway, unless you don't live in Texas where you have more reasonable speed limits. Like I think everywhere else is like 60 or something.
Yep.
Then damn it, you can learn about political parties and their platforms.
I love that. Mandatory background checks on all firearm sales.
Sure.
I just had another one and I lost it. Keep going. What's next?
Then I would probably add to it things like, we need to really go after the right-wing Christian nationalism in some form or fashion.
Shut that down real quick.
Shut her down.
Immediate citizenship for DACA.
Oh yeah,
that's a good one. That was the one that was lingering somewhere in my brain. You know, I think Democrats need to actually fucking do this. You know, because it's infuriating that it isn't already being done in some which way, shape, or form, or at least talked about. Right? It's infuriating that it seems like social media is the one being like, "Yo, are you not paying attention? They literally did this. Why wouldn't you?"
Right.
And it's what the people want, I would put out there, you know, maybe it's 50-50, right?
Should we take the outline of a Project 2025 and call this Project 2029 is kind of the second question. I think it's a stupid thing, but I think also stupidity is very rampant right now.
Yeah.
And that's just easier for people to digest.
Yeah.
And unlike Project 2025, which is arguably the part of all this that pisses me the fuck off, is how loud. I mean, we were doing it. We were banging pots and pans saying like, they have a plan and this is what it's called. And then like all Donald Trump was like, I never heard of that. I don't know what you're talking about. And then it's just being executed.
No, I forgot if I got outraged about it last time on the pod, but then Democrats being like, oh, we weren't prepared for all of this. It's like, bitch, they showed you their cards and you still lost.
Right. Joe Biden should have packed the Supreme Court before he left.
Yeah. Or at the very least, you know, congressional Democrats should have been prepared to like, okay, if this is what they say they're going to do, here are our counter moves and other counter moves. Like you knew exactly what the playbook was.
Yeah.
And you did nothing.
They've turned very polite in this. And I don't.
They've been very polite.
Well, so here's my question to you. Just kind of going off this conversation is, do we alienate the close to 80 million people? And that's just voting population that we know of who go right and support Trump. Like, because to me, there's a larger growing feeling that we should. Like, it's not like I'm not advocating civil war or anything like that, but I think I recently posted, and it was funny because a Trumper jumped under my comments and started. Yeah, it was hilarious because I was just like, oh shit, how did you get here? Like, and then I was like, you're friends with this person. I'm like, I don't know this guy.
Yeah,
but that's just the way it shakes. And so that was hilarious. But I think there's this one of the things that came up was a friend of mine said also, we need to also recognize though that while this is important, that Republican or Democrat, they're both two wings of the same bird. Mm. And I totally disagree with that. I think that's a bad take, period. Here's why. If we want to go, one, I don't think the analogy fits. Two, even if you want to go down that analogy, fine. But we need to, A, define what the bird is that you're even talking about, because while that's a cute statement to say, and you can disagree with like Democrats all day. Okay. I don't think that, I think it's this is what we always get suckered into, is this one for one thing. And if you want to, so we need to define what the bird is that you're even talking about. Okay. And then two, fine, if they're a part of the same bird, great. But one's wing is fucking broken and the other one can actually fly. Okay. Like, it's not like equal. Like that's, I think that's where this whole conversation devolves. And going back to your point, Democrats are so afraid to lose people. Yeah. But I think that goes back to, they lose the war of ideas. Yeah.
It's the adage of, if you're trying to be everything for everybody, then you're nothing to nobody sort of deal. Sure. And that's what I feel like they're trying to do. I think that they do need to go balls to the wall, like all in on this, because A, that's what the other side is doing. And B, then you have negotiating room, right? What coming to the table with the middle of the road solution, and then having to concede, just push to the right, just pushes us further to the right. Absolutely. Versus if you come to the table with the far left solution, then maybe we can concede somewhere in the middle, which I think, is what most people want, is a balance of the two, a happy medium of sorts where, we can agree on certain things, disagree on certain things, overall the outcome.
And understand that sometimes you're not going to get your way, but that's democracy. Yeah. That doesn't mean the system's against you exactly. Like, because I think that's where a lot of things suffer over the course of conversations. Like, the more and more niche we get into issues, whether it's trans rights, like trans rights, I think is a good example of this, because that's a very, very niche issue. And it's one that I think is important, and that, they do need to be propped up and supported, activism, etc. But because they're already such a small population period, like, yes, you just don't have the votes, or you don't have the support. So let's do what we can to sort of normalize a healthy environment for you in the interim. And as the movement and sort of normalizing of all of it just happens. Yeah. Because I wish we could have banned assault weapons already. We don't got the votes. Yeah.
I hear you on that. The issue that I see happening is that it's not necessarily that the system is against you, but there is a side that's manipulating the system and is also, being very targeted and attacking the most vulnerable populations, right? And so that's where, like, no, we have to make it a central issue because they made it a central issue. We can't just ignore it and leave them behind.
Not ignore and leave behind. I agree with you. Like, we absolutely should not ignore and leave behind. But I think it goes back to what we were talking about, like, I think 2 or 3 pods ago. It's like, that's not a thing. And so when they make something a central issue that's not a thing, like, did you see I'm sure you did, because we both love John Oliver.
I haven't recently, but.
Oh, there's the last like 2 or 3.
Okay.
Chef kiss.
I will.
But he did a whole one on specifically trans athletes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And oh my God, the lies and hypocrisies are just humongous. Yeah. The way they make
I'm aware.
Yes. And so I think it goes back to that. Like, we absolutely don't just abandon and leave behind. But when you do, especially like someone like a Kamala Harris, when you spend a majority of your time propping up and supporting the single issue that they've made it to be that's again not a thing, then everyone else starts to feel like, well, what the fuck am I here for?
I think it is that what you're saying, that it's not a thing, right? It deserves the recognition. It's like, oh yeah, I support trans rights. What you're talking about, not a thing. Also, I support X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, we need infrastructure, goddammit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We acknowledge it. We need to make a change, but not make it the. I think it just gets warped. The other side is really good at taking one sentence and making it a mountain out of a molehill, right? For lack of a better metaphor. So Project 2029, fucking do it. Fucking come through with like everything. Because a lot of your party has lost faith in you, Democrats. I don't know if you've realized this. I think you haven't.
I think, again, they lose the war of ideas. Yeah. But it's because and to their credit, and you pointed it out, the other side is being evil and manipulative. Mm-hmm. They are the broken wing of this bird. And as much as you have to fight that, you ultimately have to win the war of ideas. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I don't see that. I don't see anyone.
Just put them all out there. Just put them all out there and fucking do them already.
Yeah, let's go to war.
All right, let's get out of here. Speaking of the Democrats and the Republicans and the rest of them, it's time for 15 minutes for the bullshit or shits that's killing me. We're going to dive into a few of the atrocities that are currently happening within this administration.
So many.
If you don't want to listen to this, just fast forward like 10, 15 minutes. I promise we'll be done with it. Sort of. Number one. $400 million plane from Qatar. If it looks like a bribe, if it sounds like a bribe, if it smells like a bribe, it's probably a bribe. Not a bribe. Mm-hmm. Not a bribe.
This is literally what we were just talking about, like the whole fight that I had on Facebook with someone who cited the law.
Yeah.
And just clearly didn't. And then it had the audacity to be like, do your research, bro. Here's the law. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, here is the law. And it says this is unconstitutional, you fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
for those of you who somehow have missed this, they're in anticipation for his trip to the Middle East. Qatar announced that they are going to gift the Trump administration, the Department of Defense, essentially a $400 million luxury jumbo jet. There's been a lot of talk about like revamping Air Force One. It's a 30-year-old plane. We know Trump loves his nice stuff. Trump approved a revamping of a plane back in his first term. There's been some stuff with Boeing on and off. It kept going under the Biden administration. It's still not ready. And so he's mad that he's not going to get a chance to ride in the plane that he approved because it probably won't be done. So here's a brand new plane. Also, here's a new $1 billion Trump golf course. Also, that's the only one that's coming to mind, but I know I read like 2 or 3 other ones where it's like, oh, this is very clearly quid pro quo. I'm going to give you this plane. And the argument being that it's not a gift to the president because it's being gifted to the Department of Defense to be used as Air Force One. And then when the president goes out of office, it will be handed over to the presidential library.
Yeah, it will.
And it's like, who in the right fucking mind thinks that he's going to let a brand spanking new fucking plane just collect dust in the library?
Right.
And they keep pointing to the Air Force One that's part of the Reagan library or something like that as like, no, there's precedence for this. That plane was decommissioned like 30 years after Reagan went out of office. So other presidents used it as Air Force One.
Yeah.
So,
it's stupidity all around. I mean, what I have enjoyed is right-wing talking heads being upset about it. Yeah, finally.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That this is one of those where like the right is also being like, no.
Yeah,
we can't.
And you can't, in your first administration, call this country a harbinger of terrorism, like just out loud.
Yeah.
And then be like, oh, but they're such good people now. It's like,
because they gave me a plane.
Right.
Because they gave me a plane.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's bad. And I hope that according to the law, because I did the research, thank you, asshole on Facebook. Congress would have to approve it.
Oh, no.
And we will see.
We'll see how many people continue to lick the tiny testicles of Trump.
And
sorry to the visuals for that.
Yeah,
sorry to the listeners for that visual. And what?
Oh, no, that's all. Keep going.
That's all. Also, the one big, beautiful bill keeps making its way through the House. It it's made it out of committees is essentially where it's at. All the committees have moved forward on it. It is now going to the House or on its way to the House.
Talking about the budget?
Yeah, the budget.
Oh, yeah, it's bad.
And do you want to go into how bad it is?
Like the specifics?
Sure.
I have to go look it up off the top. But it's humongous cuts to education, Medicaid,
Medicare.
Big time. And then they're framing it as, oh, no, these cuts are okay because they pulled Doge. Thank God Doge is dead. But the trouble that they've caused over the years or since the years.
Over the years, it's been weeks.
Yeah, over the weeks.
Okay, maybe months.
That has felt like, years. Is still longstanding because now that's just what Republicans have been doing is saying like, oh, well, no, these aren't cuts to important stuff. This is actually just stopping more fraud, waste, and abuse. Mm-hmm. And as anyone starts to look into it, it's like, yeah, no, it's not. These are people who need their shit.
Yeah, I think it was something along the lines of like 7 to 10 million people would lose access to Medicaid because of what's in this bill, all in exchange for more tax cuts for the rich. A glimmering hope. There was Ben Cohen of Ben and Jerry's Ice Cream was protesting what was going on in regards to this bill, basically shouting about how like we are funding bombs and killing children in Palestine while defunding things to save children here in America. He got arrested. Shout out to Ben Cohen. Always welcome on the pod.
Can't say welcome to the revolution because you are the revolution, my ice cream making brother from Vermont.
Little silver lining. I have little silver linings for a lot of these, actually. The little silver lining is that the Senate has kind of signaled that this bill is dead in the water if it gets to the Senate. There's a lot of them that are not for this because of X, Y, and Z. A lot of Republicans that have to go back home to their constituents
and explain midterms are coming.
Yeah, and explain why they're losing their Medicaid coverage.
Because spoiler alert, the majority of Medicare and Medicaid coverage, guess where it goes to?
Red states.
Red states everywhere. Same thing with the Department of Education
in rural America. Yeah.
Yep.
So because of that, they're Mike Johnson in the House is sweating, trying to figure out how to make this
juggle all these balls in his mouth.
You're welcome for that visual. And because he doesn't want to put this to a vote if it's just going to die anyway, because then that's going to leave a lot of the Republican members on the House on the record for voting for something that will harm their constituents. And, the midterms are coming. So maybe it doesn't.
The one silver lining to add to this silver lining also is that at the tail end of Biden's term, they just became the most ineffective Republican Congress of all time. And we're still seeing that.
Yeah. Thank you, Marjorie Taylor Greene, for just
outside of
being the nuke inside the Republican Party.
Yeah. Outside of potentially codifying the Gulf of America, which we'll see if that happens. I know they voted on it. Yes, people. But I mean, trust me, they just did that just to do it. I don't know if they just kicked the can down until midterms and then try and pass it. I think they're really scared about midterms.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to pick up. And maybe we'll do an episode about that coming up. So.
Yeah. We'll talk about the midterms next year.
I think.
Or this year. We'll see what happens. Also, tax on, tax off. Tax on, tax off. The Mr. Miyagi school of tariffs continues as Trump decided to take away the 145% tariffs on China back down to 10-30. Not sure. Maybe both. Who knows? As they try to renegotiate this thing, the head spinning. It's a fucking mess.
He's such a good businessman. I wonder if he wrote a book.
I wonder. In the meantime, there are a lot of businesses that are currently trying to hurry the fuck up. And there was a lot of stuff that was sitting in warehouses in China, not shipping because of these tariffs that they're like, ship now. And the bottleneck effect that's fixing to happen on our ports in the coming weeks.
Huge.
It's going to be a problem. In any case, it's only a temporary pause, 90 days while they try and figure it out.
According to all the economists that I've looked at or heard what they've had to say or read, and then also according to the director of the Port of Los Angeles, which is the largest port in the Western Hemisphere, if I'm not mistaken.
Well,
It's bad no matter what. Even if they cut all the tariffs off now in the next like 2 weeks, I think now on the timeline, we're just gonna start seeing problems. And my heart goes out to small businesses, like the honest ones. Like like y'all really wanted to do something cool, and some of them quit their jobs. They put all their money into this, and this is
going out of business left and right. And that's the kind of like memes and tweets that I keep seeing all across social media are people that like voted for Trump and now they're like, you've destroyed my business and my livelihood and I'm now broke and potentially, losing my house, like all sorts of things where it's like these are people that relied on this kind of manufacturing in order to, like, small town America, small brand America relied on this. They don't have the capacity to just relocate their factories to the United States. Giant corporations are going to be fine because they can either wait it out, pay the tariffs, increase their prices. They got options. These smaller brands, these, startups, all independent brands, they're just going out of business left and right.
Yeah.
And
because they're on razor thin margins to begin with.
Yeah.
And then also I was going to say this also hurts small town rural America, because I don't know if you know this, but you know who the biggest supplier of like food and just product is in the United States? Dollar store, Dollar General.
Oh, yeah.
And guess where they get all their stuff from, So again, when you're in these rural towns, like my parents live like 45 minutes outside of San Antonio. And so when I go take that little trek, every little town, there's one Dollar General. Yeah. And you're just like, holy shit. Like
that's it.
Good luck.
And Dollar Generals are already expensive. They're called Dollar Generals. They're not cheap. It's basically a bigger, it's a convenience store without a gas station.
A smaller Walmart. Yeah. That's all it is.
So, that continues to go. And then lastly, what in the name of King Jong-un, someone's getting a birthday parade.
Yeah, for the tune of $45 million, allegedly. He wants to have tanks and airplanes and submarines. He forgets they exist in water.
No, are you serious?
Oh, yeah, he said that. He was like, we're going to have submarines. It's like, did you miss the crucial element of submarine? Submarine. There's the marine that they sub.
It's in the name, bitch.
Yeah.
Already seen images of his giant face on banners plastered all over the place. So
there's a part of me that thinks, okay, do it. But only because I think there's a part of me, like, individuals left of center and further left need to not necessarily just stop. It is sickening, but we need to stop being sick by it. We need to put our Trump masks on. Mask up. Yeah.
Don't breathe that in.
Don't breathe that shit in, because I think, again, the more and more conservative or center right people see, like, yo, this is some real Kim Jong-un shit. And this is gross. It's like, yeah, we told you. You thought the guy who was tacky as shit and glittered everything in gold wasn't going to do and put his name on anything that he didn't invent just because? Yeah, fuck him.
Yep. If it smells like a dictator and looks like a dictator, walks like a dictator, talks like a dictator, probably a dictator.
Probably. So that's our 15 minutes of bullshit. We didn't want to bring your spirits down too much, but now let's get into the mighty big news.
No, in case you missed it.
Shit.
Damn.
More news. Damn. I'm rusty.
Pull up your notes, goddammit.
Yeah.
I let you keep your phone this time.
I know.
You got the first one on here.
I do?
Oh, I totally saw this. Did you send me this first one, or did I just randomly see it?
Oh, no, yeah. I it's randomly making its rounds.
I think I just randomly saw it.
Two things. So the $400 million cutter jet is actually in San Antonio.
It's in San Antonio right now.
It's at our airport.
Wow.
And it has been for a little bit.
Not our airport.
Oh, yeah, our airport.
Our airport?
Where you're going to put a plane.
On the Air Force Base.
No, it's at the international airport.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay. Like in one of the hangars, just
hanging out.
Fucking there.
Okay.
So, because it's not presidential yet.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and then when you get a plane from Qatar, you can't just put it on a military base.
Maybe not.
Maybe. So it's just chilling there.
Yeah,
but
let's not even get into the what's the word I'm looking for? The potential, not optics, but like there might be bugs on the plane. There might be what is security issues of accepting a plane from a foreign country.
That was something that I also thought of with this plane is like, if that plane just fell out of the sky with him in it, like, do we have to now go to war with Qatar? Because like his bitch ass accepted it and just jumped in full throated because he's a full throated
bitch ass. There you go.
But along with that bad omen comes another bad omen. Shout out. This is what came through my DM. Shout out to the homie Crystal who listens to the show. You're familiar with Annabelle,
the movie series? Yes.
No, the real one.
Well, yeah.
Oh, yes. Based on the real thing.
Yes.
Yes. So there's the film series, the Conjuring universe. The actual evil doll is presently in San Antonio. Annabelle in sort of marketing push for an upcoming film later this year. The Annabelle doll is on tour with Ryan from Paranormal Activity or Paranormal State.
Okay.
That show used to go hard. I fuck with them. Shout out to Serge. Always welcome on the pod. So he's taking the
come through if he's in San Antonio.
Well, check this.
Talk to us.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, no, Ryan is a guy. Yeah. Both of them. Yeah. But don't bring that doll over here.
No. Leave the doll wherever it is.
So they're taking the doll to haunted locations. So they were in New Orleans last week.
Oh, this makes.
Yeah. So they took it to this one haunted place and apparently they're like.
Is it at the Menger Hotel?
It's at a hotel. Yes. I think it's the one, the haunted plantation one.
Oh.
Like that's here.
The Menger Hotel downtown is one of the most haunted places in America.
Not that one.
Damn.
No, not that one.
Well, that would make sense.
No, it is at. So yeah, they took it to like West State Penitentiary. They took it to New Orleans, and then surprisingly enough, one of the in New Orleans. A very famous, I guess, old plantation just burned to the ground randomly. And everyone's like, see, fucking Annabelle. So if the Alamo burns down, I'm just saying.
That's why.
Yeah. Let me see if I can get the name here.
I was also in the Magic Theater this week. And apparently that theater is haunted, which makes sense because it's like 150 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. San Antonio has lots of spooky shit happening.
Yes.
The train tracks, for the listeners not of San Antonio, there's a train track where a busload of kids in a school bus got hit by a train track. And now if you go and you park your car on the train tracks and you sprinkle some baby powder on the back and you put your car in neutral, you'll see the little handprints of the kids trying to push you off this. Yeah. It will move.
I've done it.
I've been there.
Yeah, it will move. It's funny. It's fun.
We're here. So no, totally. Come through, spooky person. Who Ryan, Serge?
Yeah.
Both of them.
Ryan. All of them.
I don't know who they are.
It's cool. Ryan Burrell, I think is his name.
Ryan Burrell. Come on the pod. Open invitation. We'll do a special episode.
Yeah. We'll talk all this spooky shit. I was a big fan of Paranormal State. Yeah. Because the whole premise of it was they were essentially a college club from Penn State.
Okay.
And so like they were college kids and they took it hella serious.
Yeah.
Like they were like, no, we're here to figure this shit out.
You know who else takes it like hella serious? Zachary Kluckman out of Albuquerque. Always welcome on the pod.
Yeah.
He's actually part of like the Albuquerque Paranormal Society or something like that. He took me to when I was there, took me to like their secret meeting place that like it's members only, like not open to the public. You got to be with someone that's a member.
Hells yeah.
Show me all the haunted spots. Here for it.
Fucking yeah.
Anywho, also, I don't know how to tie this. We were talking about TV. There we go. In TV news, rebranding has just gone awry. Okay. It's a hot mess. So HBO Max is back.
She went through a lot of transitions.
She went through transitions.
She went through her
pause tangent.
Yeah.
Saw this. It's a mic drop. Earlier this month, there was a man named Robert who came out in front of a crowd of people and said, from henceforth, my name is no longer Robert. It is now Leo, and you must address me as such. And the world accepted it.
Just ran with it.
So people can accept when trans people change their names.
Absolutely.
Coming back, HBO going through transitions.
They went through their live life love phase. They went through their trip through Tuscany, travel log, phase.
All of it.
They went through their hoe phase when they became Max. And now they're coming back home to HBO, home box office Max.
Yes, the idea. So they went from what was it, HBO Go to HBO Now.
Shout out to HBO Go. I was early on Go.
I know.
Yeah.
Then HBO Now, then HBO Max, then Max, and now back to HBO Max. And apparently the reasoning behind this. So when they switched to Max, is they wanted to say that we have everything here. Absolutely everything. We got because
Discovery.
This was during the
TLC,
the merger between Warner Brother and Discovery, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got Discovery, we got TLC, we got CNN, we got HBO, we got it all.
TNT.
It's Max.
Yeah.
And now they're like, oh, that didn't quite work for us. Let's go back to quality.
Because what is Max
over quantity? It's too much.
And
nobody wanted it.
Nobody.
So now they're putting that HBO name back on there because HBO stands for quality.
I am ride or die HBO. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Since I was a kid.
Since The Sopranos.
Before that.
Before The Sopranos.
I'm talking Tales from the Crypt.
Oh,
like back in the day.
That was on HBO.
Hell yeah, it was.
So maybe it's a good thing. Who knows? In similar news, CNN Plus gone. Now just CNN.
Oh, welcome back. Missed y'all.
Yeah. Which will be available to CNN subscribers online. If you subscribe to CNN online as so you can read their stuff, you'll have access to CNN, the streaming content. ESPN also has launched ESPN.
Good for them. Glad they found themselves.
I think they used to be ESPN Plus for a hot minute.
Something like
it was
that,
being bundled with Disney Plus and
it wasn't
Hulu.
good. Yeah,
it was a hot mess, and now it will just be ESPN, and it will be their content. And this seems to be a good change for from everything that I've heard. And also, Fox One has entered the chat just in time for whatever sporting event is about to kick off. I don't know. Some preseason, postseason. I don't follow this stuff. So Fox One will also be available for your streaming pleasure. Do you miss cable TV?
Not at all.
Okay, me neither. So just making sure.
Yeah, no, there's, what I actually do miss a little bit is terrestrial radio. Like just listening to the radio. Back in the day. No, okay. It's always my, I'm one of the few weirdos who doesn't have Spotify. I got the YouTube Premium.
Oh, yeah.
Which is fantastic because whenever I'm at anyone else's house and they have YouTube fired up and then there's a commercial, I feel like I'm in the fucking Stone Age. I'm like, you peasants.
You're one of those.
I am.
I have been hearing a lot about people feeling like they're on a high horse because they have YouTube Premium.
Straight up.
Which is the most streamed platform of all of them.
And you get free movies on YouTube. Like, it's great. Like,
I've heard.
Watch all the shows.
Well, I have Sirius XM, but I also listen to local radio.
See, Sirius XM was probably the closest best thing, actually, in my opinion.
I love XM.
It was so good. Yeah.
I love XM radio.
It was so good.
What genre do you want? Go.
Yeah. But I think that's something that I do miss a little bit from the 90s and early 2000s, the blockbuster-fication of life, where like, you there was a stretch where you had everything like at your fingertips, essentially. You were divided into your niche based on your likes. Now you're divided into like sub niches of niches. And now it's like, dude, I don't need, and nothing's alphabetized.
Yeah.
Fuck cable though.
So you do YouTube, Netflix, HBO,
gang.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have Hulu. I have all of them for the most part, but I hate them. It's just, So like Hulu, I'm not a fan of. Disney Plus, I actually am.
Disney Plus is really great, actually.
Disney Plus is decent.
Hulu has been seriously lacking, hasn't it?
Stars is kind of trash.
Every once in a while they have something good. The one that I've always kind of like looked at and been like, I kind of want you. No, Showtime.
Oh yeah, sometimes too.
Yeah, they just brought a new like Dexter series.
But hasn't that been the life of Showtime forever?
Dexter?
Yeah. No, that and just like, I should get Showtime. It's like, I got HBO.
It's one.
You remember when they used to have like 6 HBOs?
Oh
like on TV,
Signature, Family,
and
Espanol.
Yeah, good time.
They actually still exist. If you have cable or DirecTV, they all still exist.
But I do consider Showtime sometimes. I had Shudder. I got Prime, which has films, but now it's all like they have commercials, which sucks. And then there's one more. Oh, Paramount and Peacock I have.
Yep, I got those too.
So
not because I pay for them.
I think the delivering mechanism is the problem with streaming right now. Meaning, like, it's fantastic that everything's at our fingertips. I think it completely sucks that they cycle through films where it's like, oh yeah, you can't find that here anymore. You got to go to this other platform.
Well, that's the way licensing works.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's the way it always kind of worked in terms of, like, you know, there would be a movie that was on HBO and you could catch it on HBO for a couple months and then it'd be gone.
Yeah.
You know, so like it's the same model. I think what you're looking for
is physical media.
Is kind of what Netflix was at the beginning, where it's like every movie you could possibly want.
I think that's what still kind of is there with HBO Max a little bit.
Okay.
Where, like, especially when it first came out, that's what I loved about HBO Max. I love that they have the TMC movie classics. They have the whole, like they have all the Studio Ghibli stuff being on there is just great. So where it's like, okay, I can come here for that.
Yeah.
And now that they have like Discovery and TLC, like if I want to watch Property Brothers, I go fired up.
Yes.
And they got every episode.
That's right.
But I think with like Netflix and Hulu specifically, it's like it just becomes like, well, what have they licensed this month?
Yeah.
And
their original stuff. The order of which I cycle through programs to decide what I'm going to watch is HBO, Netflix, Disney Plus, Peacock, then Hulu.
That's interesting. So YouTube first for me, but I have to, we'll put that aside. But it's because YouTube.
No, don't put it aside. That's a streaming platform.
Sure.
That's your number one.
But see, I go to YouTube for news and information.
Sure.
Like there's, especially when you don't got commercials, people, let me tell you, I'm riding the super fucking highway over here.
You know what you sound like right now?
I got my podcast there. I can fire my podcast up on YouTube. I can listen to us on YouTube.
Yeah, you sound like an iPhone user talking to an Android user.
A little bit. Yeah, I won't be sorry for that. Then definitely Netflix, then HBO Max.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's my deal. And then I forget that I have the others, and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I got Peacock. Yeah. Go see what's over there.
I'll jump on Peacock is there as like number 4 because if I've gone through like HBO, Netflix, and Disney, and there's still nothing I want to watch, then I'll just fire up some old wrestling.
See, I'll fire up Peacock. Old Marvel shit on Disney. If there's nothing else to watch, I'm like, yeah, I'll watch Thor: Love and Thunder again.
Yeah, why not? Moving on, in case you missed it, so it is commencement season at the moment.
Yeah.
I know you're looking forward to that.
Hell yeah.
Because school's out. And recently, what's been making the rounds is NYU valedictorian Logan Rossos. I want to say Rossos because I'm Mexican.
Gave a
speech, his commencement speech, and he used that speech to acknowledge and condemn the genocide that is happening in Gaza and the United States' support for it. NYU came out with a statement saying that they condemn his actions and revoked his diploma.
They're so scared of Trump.
That's
all it is.
Yeah. That part. What happened to institutions of higher education being a place for like free speech and young minds and, you know, the counterculture, all of that?
It's an age thing. I seem to find where in academia you have it's kind of like this weird thing. It's like the war of smart people where like this motherfucker's valedictorian of NYU, bro. Like you can't revoke his fucking diploma.
Apparently.
But like that's what I think that goes back to the like nothing matters anymore.
Yeah.
Like how? Like if that makes sense. Like this fool did all the steps you had, but because he gave a little 5-minute speech. I
agree, yeah.
You're like, that's over now.
Give him his money back then.
Yeah, at least. Like, you know, fucking hell. Like, this is someone who, no matter, will probably do something of importance and bring accreditation to your university because as they go on in life and such would be, you know, you don't become valedictorian of NYU for nothing. And yet it's just, it's all grandstanding out of fear. And I hate it. I think, you know, there is this, I can't get too deep into the weeds because it's just, it's a complicated like conversation to have. Like we can talk about it offline, but what I can say is like, even at like my institution, we have these conversations about academic freedom. And in the state of Texas, there's this like I don't know what you want to call it, like it's a piece of paper, but
Yeah.
it's like a charter that is for academic freedom, and in the classroom space, like as educators, we have a lot of latitude in that regard to talk about what we want to talk about, et cetera, et cetera. But as the conversations have been happening, one of the big questions that I've raised and colleagues have raised is like, but it's a piece of paper. And as we've seen over the course of this administration, they don't care about pieces of paper. They don't care about the Supreme Court. They don't care about a lot of things. They don't care if you're a green card holder. They'll erase your ass.
Yeah.
And so how much protection do these institutions actually want to afford their staff, their students, their whoever?
Yeah.
That's the real question right now. Like I think people are afraid to put their neck on the line. And I agree. Like at the heart of it, universities need to be the first out the gate. They're usually always the last ones. They're always the first to like ring the alarm, but y'all also got to be the first to kind of maybe pick up.
To hold your ground.
Yeah.
At the very least. Right. And I think, we hate to say, yay, Harvard, but at least they're doing something. And I know a lot of them are scared of losing their funding, but you know what? That's why you have a fucking endowment.
Did you see that the president of Harvard is going to take a pay cut?
Oh, great.
Yeah.
No.
Like because of all this. He's like, yeah.
And that's what I was going to say. You have an endowment and maybe, the library isn't getting new tile this year, right? Move that down the line. Pay your instructors, right? What they need to be paid. Fund the research that you're doing. Take a pay cut.
Well, this might also segue into what we are going to talk about, the mighty, mighty big news. But I think that's also a huge problem with education in general, is that it's become so tethered to this idea of like it's an industry. Like I was listening to some podcasts and someone was referring to it as like the education industry. And I'm like, it's not an industry. Like the education should not ever be synonymous with any sort of industry. Like that's not the goal. And even if some people are like, well, it's a service job. It's like, no, it's not. Because at a service industry, like there's a service that you came to pay for. Like my car is here. I need you to fix it. But there's a difference between that versus what education is, because it's like you can't go to an auto shop and be like, hey, I need my oil change. And you've gone 10 years without a fucking oil change and your car is like on barely breathing. Like that's not, you know what I mean? So like if they turn you away and say like, yeah, we can't help you, you have the right to be upset. Like, well, I have the money for you to fix my shit. But like at a college, like we can't do that. If you come in and you never got an oil change, you can't fucking read. Like we still have a certain obligation to take care of you. It's kind of like the healthcare. Like there's the healthcare industry, but then there's actual healthcare, like what doctors are doing. And I think we need to reframe all of that, because if we're always under threat of like, but what if they take our money? Like who the fuck said that's what this is about? Yeah. Like pull it.
Pull it the same way Nintendo is going to pull you.
Fuck, man. I'm so upset at Nintendo.
Yeah, I heard about this like a week ago. But you want to set it up for us?
Hell yeah. The motherfuckers at Nintendo, Konnichiwa Japan, they are changing their model where now everything, you don't buy video games anymore. It's basically like you subscribe to the video games that you own. And so they set out these new user policies.
This is in anticipation of the Switch 2 that is coming out.
That is got a huge buzz.
Yes. It's great.
It's so buzzy that it's causing issues with the tariffs.
Yeah. I've heard so much about it in the past few weeks.
Yes. That because of this, the new user agreement is changing things. So if you were, for example, to buy a video game, where if you wanted to just let someone borrow it or share it, you can't do that. If you want someone else to play it at the same time, can't do that. It's really, if anyone else wanted to use it, they have to buy a copy of it themselves. But you don't actually buy a copy. You buy the right to go on the internet and play it. And so what the fuck do we own anymore?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Because you're living in America. Cue the sound.
Attached to this, I don't know, the new GTA 6 Grand Theft Auto?
That seems to be postponed again.
Postponed again, and everyone's up in arms with. They were talking to the developers of that, and one of the big things that they've even raised that fits with this conversation is this idea that games should now be charging by the hour.
Wow.
Like if you're playing, you should be charging charge by the hour.
Wow. Fuck that noise.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But it goes back to the money problem. Like
capitalism.
If you're going to, it's like, but we're raising the bar. But it's like, you're not raising the bar just in terms of experience. Like you're deliberately doing this for the capitalism.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the thing with Nintendo is they will also brick your Switch. If you try to hack it in some way, they can shut it down. And brick your Switch, and then you got nothing.
That's crazy.
There's certain things that like I understand, like charging more for certain games, right? Like let's take the remakes of Final Fantasy VII is a great example, right? These are 2-disc games. These are 200 plus hours of gameplay. And if video games are going for $60 a pop and you're going to charge me $80 for this video game, makes total sense, right? A lot more time was gone into it, a lot more development, a lot more people were hired for this. Like, yes, more capital spent, more capital earned. That makes sense. But just kind of like across the board, raising prices on everything is what we're seeing happening. I will say that when I saw this, so we have, as many listeners and or poetry people who've ever seen me perform know, a Roomba. And the Roomba is on a subscription plan.
Yeah.
It's a 3-year subscription plan. You pay a monthly fee. They automatically send you parts, replacements, all that jazz. But in the clauses of it all was like, if you cancel your subscription, your Roomba will no longer turn on.
It's crazy.
You can't use it anymore because you're not paying that monthly fee. So if you want to see how fucked up this can go watch the first episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what this is about. And speaking of the Black Mirror world that we will soon be living in, it's time for the Mind of Big News, wherein we're going to talk about the AI free-for-all that has begun as we inch closer and closer to Skynet or the Matrix? Not sure. Quick setup. What's going on right now is that Congress just recently decided to hit snooze on AI regulation, essentially. The Energy and Commerce reconciliation draft that they passed out of committee put a 10-year freeze on any state or municipal law that regulates AI models, systems, or automated decision tools. So basically saying states can't regulate it. It has to come from the government. To put this in perspective, there are currently 700 pieces of legislation that are either in effect or in the process of being drafted, going through, that if this passes, scrapped completely. The person in charge here, Representative Jay Obernacht, I don't know, white people names, so hard. He's a Republican from California, ex-VR startup guy. His talking point was 50 rule books will kill innovation. If there's 50 different ways that you got to play, it's going to stifle innovation. Spoken like a true startup venture capitalist. So it passed committee on May 14th along party lines. It's headed to the full House after Memorial Day. We see how this goes. The flip side of this is that there isn't actually any replacement for anything planned. There's no bill. There's nothing currently in the federal government that preempts or states what should happen in terms of creating U.S.-wide guardrails for artificial intelligence. So it kind of becomes a free-for-all of sorts.
Yeah.
Throws the gauntlet down. Also, to put it into perspective, the people that are for this, that want this, are big tech. Think Meta. Think Microsoft, OpenAI, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and a lot of GOP governors that are eyeing their uniform rules. People who are against this are the Coalition of State Cyber Chiefs. Think New York, Colorado, Minnesota, the ACLU, the Algorithmic Justice League, or AGL, the NAACP, small business associations that are worried about data theft. I just want to ask you, America, which side are you on? Who are you going to be with? So couple of things to talk about here. Let's start with state rights versus stifling innovation.
I want to be absolutely clear about artificial intelligence. I am on the other side of it completely, where I am looking this like Ian Malcolm in Jurassic Park. This shit is bad, and we need to kill it. Like legit kill AI.
Kill the project.
Now.
Pull the plug.
All of it. Because it's too much. And just like in Jurassic Park, the problem that we're seeing right now, as you wonderfully outlined, is they don't want guardrails. When they say innovation, what they mean is just sort of the no restrictions on growth for profit.
Scale and profit, yes.
Right. And when you do that, you end up with the Tyrannosaurus Rex in downtown San Diego.
Scale and speed. That was what I was looking for.
Yes.
But yes, that's exactly what
it's
worse.
Yeah, much worse. I fear, and I think sometimes this gets labeled as like fear mongering or closed-mindedness or sort of, being a traditionalist. And I disagree with all that. I'm not doing this because I'm afraid that they're going to turn into iRobot and want to murder us. But I do genuinely worry about Mark Zuckerberg. Fuck that guy. And who's already sold all our data to now, as we've already seen through ICE and Homeland Security, using AI to find undocumented people. And tracking movements without like having to ever.
And it's just going to get worse.
Oh yeah. It's
1,000% worse.
So much worse.
Yeah.
Like the surveillance state that we're going to live in is going to be insane.
Yeah.
To where they don't have to necessarily put the finger to you anymore. We're going to be living in some Blade Runner shit.
Yeah. I have to, point out the irony and hypocrisy of a political party that champions small government, saying small government doesn't have the right to regulate shit.
Yeah.
That's one. And then two, like the innovation stifling thing or whatnot, like there being each state getting to decide what is or isn't acceptable in terms of AI within their state. I mean, I think that just kind of it's the bumpers, right? It is kind of like a bottleneck of sorts that will slow it down, but for good reason, right? For good reason, this should be a slow process, right? Unlike you, I use AI on the regular, and I think it has the potential for a lot of good. But I also use cars, right? And I love cars. I don't think that this should be Mad Max Fury Road and just let, people do whatever they want to their cars and be driving around like crazy. Like, I'm for it with regulation, right?
I'm not even for that.
I know you're not.
But here's why. To your point, because this is something that like I'm on an AI ad hoc committee at my job, and like this is what we talk about and look at and research and all this other stuff. And the analogy that I think is very fitting, and even someone such as yourself who does use AI, and I'll be honest, like I don't like it often when you do. But it's like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Like it's fine. Like, it's kind of just like, like that's as far as it goes.
Yeah.
But I think when it comes to the analogy that I like to say is that while yes, you have people who have engaged with it and are learning about it and using it for its benefits, the majority of people have no clue. And so what we're doing is you're getting people who don't even know how to ride a bike and giving them a nuclear submarine. And that's the problem. Because I've literally seen this grading final exams, because I am realizing how many students are using AI and they can't get it right. And the problem is, so for example, if I were to assign an assignment on tariffs, what I also additionally see as the problem is that you get a nation of not programmers who know how to actually work the in and outs of creating apps or engaging with the software behind computers. You have prompt builders, essentially, and they don't know what the context of the prompts they're creating is usually. It's just usually what someone else told them, nor do they understand the results of the prompts either. So if I were to tell my students, hey, write a paper that's either for or against tariffs, they're just going to go to whatever political leanings they go to and say, write me a paper on why tariffs are good. And it'll create that. But then that also gives them this sort of framework to feel like, oh, see, tariffs are good. Like I researched it. It's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
You don't know shit. And that's all I'm seeing is this progressive like usage of AI for people who don't have the skills to create whatever they need to.
Yeah.
And it's just like shortcut. And I get that, but it also does ice out actual creators, actual people who put their years of experience behind these things for reasons.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm all the way out on AI now.
All out. And you haven't even read AI 2027, have you?
No.
Okay, great. And also to be clear, what you're talking about too is the chatbots of AI.
Oh, yeah.
That's just the surface of the fucking well that AI is going into. You were mentioning the like prompt builders. Those will be obsolete essentially. So AI 2027 is a report that recently came out. It was written by an ex OpenAI employee who quit OpenAI because he realized y'all are not taking the precautions needed. It's gonna be a fucking mess.
Bad.
I'm out. And I forgot where the other person worked. But these are people that like know, understand, are deep in, you know, all of the AI. And what it details is the potential trajectory that we're on, where AI becomes AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, and then becomes ASI, which is artificial super intelligence. The machines are smarter than us now. And basically, he says that the Nexus event is coming in the next year or two, and we will choose one of two paths, and we're probably not going to make the right choice.
Why would we need a government if we have AI? Like literally,
yeah.
Like
you would just need the CEO in charge of the AI,
well,
right?
you just need the supercomputer to think like, hey, what's the best course of action as a country for the next 40 years?
The way dictatorships have worked is that there is one person in charge of the army, and he who controls the army controls the world. Now it's he who controls the super intelligence controls the world until the super intelligence controls them. And that's kind of like the Nexus event that he talks about in this report, wherein like in the next year or two, because the growth of this is exponential, right? Every 7 months, we double in how fast we have advanced AI and how fast. So eventually AI starts coding itself. And then we realize.
Which is already happening in Microsoft. I don't know if you saw that, but they just fired 7,000 people because AI is
doing the coding. Yeah. They're starting on coding. Like that's where all the companies are starting right now, is teaching AI to code so that they can then use that to build, and it just keeps snowballing. So the Nexus event comes where like we realize that the machines are lying to us. Yeah. Right. And then we either pull the plug
if they let us,
or we don't. And then the robots kill us.
And
essentially what happens to us.
Yeah. And to be quite frank and real is I don't suspect robot massacre, but what I do suspect is for people to realize
I suspect it.
Oh, I mean, that's fair. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities. I just don't suspect it. Okay. Like I guess, it's possible. Yeah. Like it's totally possible. I just don't. And especially like, this is also why we need to stop falling. This is Robert Downey Jr.'s fault. Okay.
Great. Always welcome on the pod.
Always welcome on the pod.
Defend yourself.
Yes. Love you, sir. But it's his fault because he made Tony Stark so goddamn cool. And those Marvel movies, when we started to see all these things and we fell in love with Jarvis and we fell
Friday.
And Friday. And then Elon kind of became this almost real life Tony Stark in the minds of Americans. They didn't realize he's a moron. When he wanted to put robots in the home, and thank God he's terrible at that. But I do see like that potentially coming out of China. Yeah. And I do see Chinese governments sort of really pushing for what is happening now.
That's the argument in terms of like why we can't stop. Because the argument is, well, if we don't do it, someone else will, and then they will rule the world instead of us. And when I say us, I don't mean like you and me, us. I mean, like the
Americas,
people,
or the West,
what have you. Yeah. You know, on the Marvel of it all, like low key, there's a part of me that was like, no, Ultron was right. Like,
that we need to go.
That, you know, like humans have been in existence for a blink of an eye, and we have fucked this planet up real quick.
I think it's so funny because I've just really thought a lot about this recently, and I just think we're at this crucial tipping point, which is a great book by Malcolm Gladwell, and this is kind of what prompted the thoughts, is that money has just ruined everything, and we have to get off of money because we've gotten to this place where we understand that money matters to our livelihood, and this idea that money is everything. But through that argument, we've now put it to this place where now business is everything, because without business, you don't get money. And so now we have all these thoughts of sort of how do we arrive to a place of wealth and liberty and freedom where you just have the money to not have problems anymore.
Yeah.
And that's one, very sad, but two, it's gotten me to this other place where like now we need to teach contentment, and contentment is radical as fuck.
Yeah.
And contentment is going to say we don't need AI.
Yeah.
Like at all. Like, sorry, you have to do this the hard way, kid. Like, it's like, but no, like you just have to, like, you know, you have to wait for the fucking plants to grow and the fruit to sprout. You have to grow in seasons. You have to regulate yourself, because the irony is these capitalists are not as much as they push it. And I see that they're like drug dealers, bro. Like the way they push AI, it's so gross to me. Because it's all about like, it's going to make so many things so much easier, and it's going to free you up for this, it's going to free you up for that. But they don't want you free. None of them want you free. The point is they want to maximize profits with as minimal employees as possible, to where we're just working indentured servitude. We don't own anything already. We like the Nintendo Switch we were just talking about,
or we have no purpose. That's the thing. You know, this also goes into it on AI 2027, where like essentially, you know, millions of people lose their jobs because they're obsolete now. And then the idea of universal basic income gets put in, right? Because the government and or corporations will just pay you off to like do nothing, and then you become purposeless. And then there's mass depression. And then, you know, like all of these things where like people wandering around the world with like no purpose, no guiding light, no responsibility, no nothing. Chaos ensues. Depression is like all of it. It's very, very like, did nobody watch the movies?
Read the stories.
Like there's been so many movies that all have talked about this, and it's always some evil capitalist henchman, and the little scientist in the lab is being like, no, but you don't understand. We need to pull the plug. And you know, they're like, no, we need the money.
This is the real dinosaur of Jurassic Park moment, people. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic about it. Like, the more I learn about it, the more, and like I said, Microsoft fired 7,000 people because it's coding itself. It's the genie is out of the bottle, but not completely.
Yeah. We talk about, you know, the moment of singularity, right? And where which is kind of defined as like the moment wherein like you can't really see what comes after that. Right. And I don't know if we've necessarily hit that yet, because I think we can still kind of see a year, 2, 3 years out from now and the different paths that we can go. But there will come a point where it's like, after this moment, which is kind of like that nexus event of like, we've realized the machines are lying to us and we decide to slap it on the wrist, then it could either go the way of, you know, CEO dictator of the world, or the robots kill us.
Or the robots just manage. Or have you ever seen that one?
Or who knows?
Not Avatar. There's another movie that's like Avatar. It's called Surrogates. Have you ever?
No.
Okay. Not a good movie.
Required reading.
Yeah.
Is what it is right now.
But there's this movie called Surrogates, and I think this is also a potential. It goes back to the whole like Blade Runner potential future where you have people who stay at home all day, basically in capsules, and then an automated version of themselves that looks however they want, that is essentially a robot powered by AI, and they can still experience life through this capsule that they sleep in all day. That's the thing that goes to work. That's the thing that...
Very Matrix.
Very much so. But then at the end of the day, the thing has to charge, and you come out of your capsule, and now you're just sort of who you are when the lights go out.
Yeah.
And I do really feel like, to what you kind of laid out about like the depressive life that could happen.
Yeah.
I don't see people wanting to return back to nature. And not just that, there's also the ecological implications of all this, because for those who don't know, ChatGPT and AI farms are so bad for the environment, and the amount of water they need to cool their systems, it is bad. No one is going to ask AI, like, how do we fix climate change? No one's going to ask it, how do we make it to where people are, freer to live better lives? It's always going to be just for the benefit of the
I disagree
ruling class.
that no one's going to ask it, but
I mean, of substance who can do something.
Yeah, will
it
get funded or pushed to that's a whole nother story. So if you want to read the report, it actually kind of reads like a science fiction novel. So it's very easy to read, right? In terms, it's not very scientist jargon heavy. It's ai-2027.com. Great report. Go read it. But now that we've talked about the kind of like existential crises that we're facing, before, our listeners label us as, tinfoil wearing quacks. Right. Let's talk about some of like the real world implications that, that we're seeing now, right? And how they can progressively get worse. The one that stood out to me because it essentially will be reversed because of this rule that the federal law is passing, is kind of like hiring bias based on artificial intelligence. There's currently something going on in Illinois where they sued a company because of the implicit bias that was built in, right? Because right now these models need to be trained. And so if we're training them on historical data, then that historical data is wrought with implicit biases. So you're seeing that already happening. And unfortunately, by getting rid of these regulations within the states, it just allows it to kind of like run a little bit more rampant.
Absolutely. It's not our friend.
No. Then, of course, the subject of deep fakes.
I was going to go that route too. Like, how do we as it's still an existential problem, but how do we feel about like, the fact that you can have, like, we might not even have to be on social media anymore. We just have our existential deep fake.
Yeah. Our avatar
out there living our life, meeting people and, existing. Like, going back to that one asshole on my Facebook post, I don't know if that's a real person. Like, I've really thought about this. Like, sometimes, like, now when I get comments from strangers on any platform, I'm like, I don't know if this is even a real person. Like, because you can go look it up. Or like when people call us gay on TikTok, I'm like, but it makes me laugh. But it's that thing of like, the algorithms could be manufactured in a way where like, people see us living life, but now I don't even know. Yeah.
And then just raising like the hyper suspicion of it all, because you don't know what is or isn't real. I think the statistic is something like 60% of people, incorrectly identified deep fakes or can't tell the difference between something that's real and something that is a deep fake. So, come midterms next year, you might be getting a call from your tia being like, oye, mijo, I just wanted to let you know that your polling place has moved. Not your tia. Might be a deep fake.
They've been getting a lot of old people already with these AI deep fakes. And telling people that they should create like passwords for their families.
Yeah.
But again, your phone is always listening. Like, like it's in your car. It's everywhere. We've attached ourselves to these devices so much, like fuck Steve Jobs.
Rest in peace.
Sorry. Rest in peace, Steve Jobs.
Also, you kind of touched on this too, the idea of like data privacy. Absolutely gone, right? There will come a time where facial ID recognition is how you pay for shit at the groceries, right? And then now your health insurance has access to what it is that you are buying at the groceries. So therefore, they're going to deny your medicine because, well, you're not taking care of yourself by buying the right food. So why are we going to approve this medicine if you're just doing it to yourself anyway, right?
Yeah, like we looked at your, using an AI algorithm. We found that you go to this convenience store every other week, and purchase cigarettes.
Yeah.
So we know that you don't do that, so we're not going to cover you.
Yeah. Like the surveillance that you were talking about in terms of being able to track people, deport them, hunt them down, right? I know we were talking about like trans issues earlier in the pod and how it's like a marginalized group, but imagine the idea of AI surveillance being able to track trans people in the world. I mean, Texas is already
they're doing
creating
that for
a registry.
Yeah.
No, but they're creating a registry of anytime that somebody wants to change the gender on their official documents, that has been logged for a number of years now. And this could be because it was a mistake or whether somebody is changing their gender or whatever the case may be. They're keeping a log of that shit and now implementing AI. And that's basically where I was going with the next one. Latinx, queer people, surveillance tech is basically all gas, no brakes.
Activists, like, sorry. I mean, it's cute that you still wear masks and cover up your faces at these things, but they don't have to. They just ping your cell phone now.
Yeah.
They just, you can leave your cell phone at home, but again, like they can check your search history. They can check your, like you would, I don't even, and I still don't even think this would work because Google got sued for it. But like you would have to live your entire search and life and social life history on incognito mode, essentially. Like they know what porn you watch. They know everything.
Do you have a VPN? Because you should.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
And even then, like who's to say that they just don't care and just say, fuck it. Well, we're going to mine that too. Like this information is out there. It's not, we think sometimes this shit that it used to be the things that we wrote on the internet were there forever. And we still don't think about it sometimes, you know, the photos we take and so forth. But now it's down to the, like, when you even open up your phone, it's on the internet forever. And going back to the video game side of it too, like there was this one Instagrammer who posted a reel about I caved and I bought the new PS5 or 6, whatever they're on. 5. And was just like, yep, I'm really excited for this. And I decided to buy Need for Speed and got the disc, put it in, can't play it. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, how can I not play? It's a single player game. Like, I don't want to play online. I just want to drive these cars. Oh, yeah. And it's like, no, you have to download the shit. So he's like, okay. So he puts it in and he downloads it. He thought that it meant like, I have to go online to the internet to upload something so that my game that's on this disc will play. No, you still have to download it from the internet. And again, it's like, that's that thing of why the fuck did I even go to GameStop to buy the thing when it doesn't matter? Like, and it's, I don't know what to tell people, like, truthfully, outside of these are scary times. Vote Pete Buttigieg 2020. Right. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, no, let's not end on a note of doom and gloom. There are some resources and some like DIY things that people can tap into if you're feeling like the doom and gloom is coming to either stay informed or better protect yourself. So like one, there is currently a coalition letter from what is it, Chief Intelligence Security Officers, I think that's what it stands for, that are opposing this moratorium, right? Specifically New York, Colorado, Connecticut, to name a few of the states, right? So maybe not vote Pete Buttigieg, but, you know, like contact your representatives, right? Contact your senators, your state senators, talking about like, hey, don't let this go through. We need regulation, right? The other thing, there's a couple of accounts if you're still on the Twitter or if you're on Blue Sky, there's one called at AI Now or at AGL United. That's the Algorithmic Justice League that we mentioned earlier. They are constantly posting kind of updates on things that are happening, but also what you can do, how you can stay informed, and how you can fight back. The Electronic Frontier Foundation, or EEF, has a free online surveillance self-defense guide. So like seriously, if you're worried about, you know, surveillance and the government coming for you and who knows what they're doing with your data and whatnot, there is a full free guide for you to download. And then just to, like I mentioned earlier, go read that AI 2027 report because, you know, the more you know, it's important to be informed. In the meantime, we'll keep bringing you this podcast.
I mean, we're going to just end up in a world full of fucking podcasters because that's going to be the only job left.
And even then, they will be fake.
Yes.
There will be fake podcasts out there. They already exist. I think, you know, you can create your avatar. You can create a fake voice. You can create a fake personality and live your life that way. But I guarantee you, we are real. We are in this
That's what
studio.
AI would say.
We are sweating. Okay, AI does not sweat.
AI would never create a podcast and claim they were from San Antonio. So that's how you know we're real.
That's how you know we're real.
They would say something hipper.
AI would not be going on year 3 of a podcast and be okay with 30 listeners.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
That's right. And we are. We love all 30 of you.
Yeah, y'all are great.
AI would not forget to put the volume back up so that he can play his music. We have reached the point of the show where we have a quick hit of dopamine. And
you got the first one.
I do. I don't know how much of a dopamine hit it is. I just found it really interesting on the science of it all. Made me giddy. So we all know the magic of alchemy, which is taking one substance and turning it into something else. And there's always been that the lore, the myth, the magical quest to turn lead into gold. Well, it turns out scientists have been able to do this using the giant particle accelerator collider thing, Bob, the CERN, I think it is.
Good for them.
Right? CERN. They have managed to take a lead atom and knock off a couple of its protons, therefore essentially turning it into a gold atom.
Boom.
This was done not by colliding two atoms, but by bringing them so close to each other that the velocity of them passing them knocked the protons off of the atom.
Shit.
And I just thought that was super cool. And, that's the kind of research I want funded.
Hells yeah. More gold.
Unless you're Donald Trump, less gold.
That tacky bitch.
So that was that's what I saw that I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah. I got two quick hits of dopamine. The first is it was proposed. I don't know if it's going to actually go, but it's making the news cycle.
Oh no,
rounds.
It's passing. It's passing.
You think so? Hopefully, I hope so.
We have decided that it's passing.
Oh yeah,
you and I.
Greg Popovich International Airport is what they want to rename the San Antonio Airport. Winningest coach in NBA history.
The GOAT.
The
literal GOAT.
Yeah, exactly.
Of like, this is not disputable.
Undisputable.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
He gets the belt.
Absolutely. There may be some peers close, but there's only one Pop. So, yes, for anyone who doesn't know, they want to potentially rename San Antonio Airport Pop International. Well, not that, but that's what we would call it. Pop International.
We call it Pop International.
Yeah,
why not?
I think that's a better name.
Yeah.
Call it Pop International.
I don't know what it's currently called.
San Antonio International.
That's so it doesn't even have a name?
No, just San Antonio. I mean,
that's boring.
Newark International. Like, they're all,
Well, some of them have names. Heathrow.
Yeah. Some of them get named after
Bergstrom. Yeah. Whatever the Austin one is called.
Kennedy.
Yes, there we go. JFK. Yeah. LaGuardia. Right? There are those.
O'Hare.
We'll go with that.
So let's call it Pop International.
Pop International. What's the other one you had?
This just actually hit in the DMs.
Okay.
Apparently, so tonight, we're recording a little bit earlier today because I got to go hit the road.
That's right.
But apparently,
Laredo. Here they come.
Yeah, the BX3 Slam team. We are in the Laredo Morning Times right now. We're in the news.
Damn, what's it say? Read it.
Laredo Border Slam to host BX3 Poetry Slam before regional trip to Knoxville by Maria Ruiz.
That's right. So if you're listening to this and you're in Laredo, chances are you missed it because it was last night, because this won't be released until
we will be on the Rocks Tavern tonight.
Is that what they're having it? Great.
Yeah.
We love On the Rocks. Such a great place. Shout out to Edward. Always welcome on the pod. That's awesome. Also kind of a quick hit of dopamine. I don't know. I mentioned we'd gotten that Recall Pass and been going to watch like a lot of movies.
Hell yeah.
Final Destination Bloodlines out in theaters. Haven't seen it yet, out in theaters this weekend. Make a run. We did see Thunderbolts. Class. Absolute class.
You can't fight your demons with your fists, y'all. Right? That scene got me, dog. I'm not gonna lie. Seeing poor Bob like trying to beat the shit out of his shadow. Deep.
Look, what's the character's name? Yes. Yeah.
Yes, Elena.
I don't know why I thought yes.
Yeah, it's Yelena.
Yeah. Loki, Yelena over fucking
ScarJo.
Yeah.
She kind of steals it. Yeah.
All the way. And the headline that I saw there was like, that's what happens when you have women writers.
Yeah.
You get full realized women characters.
Yeah.
So good. So fucking good. I forgot. I feel like there was other Marvel news that was, exciting. Oh, they did say something about there's an upcoming series. Is it a Hulk series? Maybe it's a Hulk series. Anywho, the news being that like there will only be one more TV series that actually directly relates to the movies, so that people that watch the movies don't feel like they're missing out on part of the story by not watching the TV series.
Makes sense.
Thank Jesus. Nobody needed to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Question. How are you on the new Superman movie?
I don't know. I've never been a Superman fan. Didn't we talk about this last week?
I don't think we did.
I've never been a Superman fan.
Well, because like now they're at the last like final trailer before it drops or before it hits. I don't know if it comes out before or after Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four, I'm hella excited.
So ready for it.
Yes.
And even Doomsday. Like I know that's like a year and a half away. Right. But Secret Wars already looking like it's gonna be stupid good.
But this new James Gunnification of DC. Yeah,
that we did talk about this, or maybe we just talked about this off the pod. But I mentioned, like that it's the director of Guardians of the Galaxy, and so like that gives me hope. But I've never been a fan of Superman as a hero. Never really been a fan of the. I wouldn't say been a fan. I just never watched them. I never watched the old movies. I never watched Smallville.
Is it a hot take to just say DC is stale?
No, I don't think so. I think it is right now. I think it absolutely is. Because
I don't even think Batman's got juice.
No, the Batman, terrible. Joker,
terrible.
Bad. The Penguin series, though. Did you end up watching it?
Oh, yeah. But the thing about the Penguin series is it's not the Penguin. It's Sopranos with the Penguin, which I'm here for.
That's who Oswald Cobblepot was.
I'm here for it. Like, it was great.
And that was what I was talking about on that pod episode once, where it was like, I want the Batman universe. I just don't want Batman, right? I want the story of the Penguin, and not the like Danny DeVito version of the Penguin, right? Yeah. This Colin Farrell version.
I'm a little interested. I don't know if it's a series or a movie, but the Clayface that's coming out.
I don't know that one.
Okay, but you know the character, right?
No.
Oh man,
is that DC also? Is that right? Okay.
But so Clayface, but see, it's like the Penguin. He's a Batman rogue gallery villain.
Okay.
His whole thing was he was an actor who got into like basically he got his face fucked up and was like, oh my god, I can't believe this. He was a good looking guy.
Okay.
Gets this cream shit that he starts putting on, and it's like, oh cool, I go back to looking good. But then it starts fucking him up. So where basically he becomes a giant like mud blob monster.
Okay.
And then it's kind of like some Sandman from Spider-Man, Venom. Like he can transform into other people, like mimic them because of the acting skills. But it's kind of a heartbreaking story a little bit, but it's interesting. He's a compelling character that, unlike others, I haven't. I think that's what DC fails on all the time.
Giving us compelling characters?
Not, but like you know what? There was this like Mr. Freeze. There's actually some like animated movies and some other pieces written about him where you're like, man, this character is actually really good when you really, and he's not just some guy with an ice gun trying to rob banks.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's what I mean by like, loves Tim Burton, but like I don't want the Tim Burton version of the Batman universe now. Yeah, I enjoyed it when it was there. Batman Forever all the way.
Hell yeah. R.I.P. Val Kilmer.
But yeah, giving us like real characters with 3D characters, is what I was really getting from Penguin, right?
Right.
There is that new, what is it, Peacemaker?
Yeah.
That's coming to HBO.
I could give a fuck.
Really? It looks good.
It does. I'm so over John Cena.
Oh,
and it's not even with the wrestling shit. Like I realize I'm just.
But he's on the cusp. He's
on the cusp of
I have no fucking clue. I don't care.
Who is he supposed to be, man? Like I don't know where he fits. It's weird because I feel like he's not The Rock because The Rock just does action.
Speaking of The Rock, no, you finished.
No, that was it.
That was it. Thing. That new movie that The Rock is in. He's the
bodybuilder or the UFC guy.
UFC guy.
I could give a fuck.
Okay,
it looks compelling.
It looks good.
But see, now he's trying to do his like. Let me do my serious.
I'm a
role.
serious actor.
I'm not here for them.
Well, the movie looks good.
Yeah.
So. We'll see.
We'll see. Regal Pass, you endorse it. Regal, if you want to sponsor us and give us some free Regal passes. We are some movie watchers. So
hardcore movie watchers.
I got another pod where I talk about fucking movies.
That's right. If you want to hear more about movies that you might have missed, go listen to Underrated Favorites. But yeah, hardcore movie watchers up in this house. Thanks for sticking with us, y'all. I know it was a little doom and gloom for a lot of it. But
sometimes it be that way. Sometimes the sun is hot and it's burning your fucking ass off.
Sometimes it be that way. But But we are at the point where we're going to give our little motivational messages for the week. I don't know where my thing. Pass me that bag. Maybe it's in there.
This one?
Does that feel like it's in there? I just want to make sure that I got the right interpretation of what I'm thinking.
Okay.
But no, I don't
Clarity.
see it. Anywho, do you have one?
I do. Mine is activation over motivation.
Oh.
And sometimes just things hit you. And so I'm washing dishes this morning and I don't know. My mind goes into these weird rants by myself. And as I was sitting there, it's like if someone asked me like how to be a writer, how to do this thing, I came up with actually three different. I'll give them all. Fuck it. 3 different axioms, and they're gonna pop up in my Word Pop newsletter later this week or weekend. Activation over motivation, interest over allure, and systems over willpower. So what it is don't wait to be motivated to do a thing, because motivation is fleeting. Action is always something. So even if you only write like one word, it doesn't matter. You did something, and you just keep writing one word. It adds up. So like it's always best to just be activated, stay activated. Interest over allure is when you want to do something. Like I don't give a fuck if it's skateboarding or starting a band, learning how to make leather, right? The thing is don't do it because it's like sexy to you. Do it because you actually find it interesting, because just like anything alluring, you can fall out of love with it fast. And the thing is when you start working on something and it eventually becomes a job, you'll probably fall out of love with it.
Yeah.
But if it's interesting to you, it'll continue to stay interesting because there's so many other interesting facets to learn about. And then that's the other thing is when it's interesting, you can spend your time learning about it, and it removes sort of the like ick of I'm doing something that people are going to think is weird.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to like so it just frees you from that.
Yeah.
And then systems over willpower. Like you don't do this for a long time, like 10 years plus anything.
Yeah.
Off sheer willpower.
No.
Like it's always systems. It's always routines,
habits,
lists. So learn how begin. Your first system can be so elementary. It doesn't matter, but you have to create a system to do anything.
Damn.
So yeah, those are my 3 axioms.
That's great. You actually spent time thinking about this.
No, it popped up 10 minutes while I was washing dishes. Sometimes that happens.
I pulled a tarot card for my motivational message of the week, which was the 4 of Cups.
Okay.
The 4 of Cups is usually a card that talks about signals discontent, boredom, apathy, this just general feeling of malaise. And while it can be a signal of that, what it also encourages us to do is to see what we do have, right? Oftentimes we're so focused on the bad that we're happen or everything that we're missing in life, right? Or we just feel like nothing is good enough when you actually like pause and maybe look around. There's a lot to be grateful for what you do have, right?
Yeah.
And the things that are in your life, and the way that if you kind of like cultivate those through the things that you were just talking about, it can flourish into something else, right? So rather than focusing on what's missing, right, be grateful and work on what you do, what you got, because could be worse.
Yeah.
The robots could kill you.
We podcast for 30 people and we're happy.
That's right.
Maybe 31 next week.
Hey! Well, you know what? Usually we go this long when we have like 3, 4, 5 people on the pod, but this time
felt good.
We got shit to talk about and we put it out there. If you're still with us, we absolutely appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in to the Puro Pinche podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, review us. Help us get the word out about this podcast. Maybe we'll be 35 listeners soon. Do leave a comment. If you listen to this on Spotify or on YouTube, drop a comment. Let us know what you're thinking. We'll respond.
Yeah. You'll probably hear us talk about it on the pod.
That's right. Also, we got merch for sale. Still up on the website. Lots of things happening in the Gemini's Productions world. I now produce 6 podcasts.
Yeah, you do.
I produce 6 podcasts. So go on the website, find more stuff, get some merchandise. In the meantime, Rooster, where can they find you?
They can find me at On the Rocks Tavern tonight in Laredo, Texas.
That's right.
Chibbi, where can they find you? Yeah,
last night. If you're listening to this, you can find me on the gram at Gemini's, GEMINEYES, or at Gemini's Productions if you want to find out about all the things happening in the Gemini's Productions world. Or we're on TikTok where people call us gay. Because I am.
Yeah, go for it.
Until next time, people, stay safe out there.